Finding an angle!
Don't let it find you! Okay, here we have the steps you need to follow to solve the problem. First step is always label the sides. One will be the opposite, which is opposite the angle that we're looking for. One is the adjacent, the one next to or touching the angle we're looking for. And the hypotenuse is the longest one, opposite the right angle. Will be touching, your angle. Second step, what sides are we working with? We'll have two of the sides given to us for finding angles problems. What two sides are they? Then the next step is, when we have those two sides, which ratio do we use? Which ratio connects those two sides? As we use our SOHCAHTOA, if we have the opposite and the hypotenuse, we use sine. If we have the hypotenuse and the adjacent, we use cos. And if we have the opposite and the adjacent, that's where we use tan. So we check which ones we have, pick a rule. Then our ratio will have a rule associated to it. So we write that out. It'll be something like sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Something like that. Write it out. Then we take the values we have, substitute into our equation, leaving just one bit that we don't know. We rearrange it to get that by itself. So far, up to here, all these steps are exactly the same as when we're trying to find a missing side length. The part we start to get different is when we're rearranging. Rearranging looks different. Once we've rearranged, we calculate, remembering, of course, the very important step, that our calculator must be in DEG mode, degrees, otherwise things are going to go bad. And once we've calculated, always remember to celebrate. Alright, here is an example to look at. We have a triangle. Ta-da. It's a right angle. Excellent, very important. This side is 24 centimeters, this side is 14 centimeters. Here's our x that we're looking for. So we're looking for this angle over here, in this corner of our triangle. First step, label the sides. So we have the side that is opposite the hypotenuse, opposite the right angle, sorry, is the hypotenuse. We have the side that is opposite our angle, is the opposite. And the side that is touching and next to our angle is the adjacent. So, next step is, which two do we have? We have the adjacent and we have the opposite. So we have opposite and adjacent. So, which ratio are we going to use? So remember our SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA. So we had the adjacent and we have the opposite. So we're looking for opposite and adjacent next to each other. TOA. So we're using tan. Excellent. Next step, write out our rule for tan. What's our rule for tan? The equation was that tan theta equals O over A. We have our rule. Next step, substitute in the bits that we know. So we have our adjacent side is 24 centimeters. We have the 14 for our opposite side. So you put them into over here. And we have our x is the unknown angle. So replace theta with our x. So that gives us tan x equals 14 over 24. Excellent. So now we have an equation with only one unknown in it. So we just need to rearrange to get that by itself. Here's where things get different. We can't simply use multiplying or dividing or adding like we did other times. We have to use a thing called the arctan, or tan to the -1 function. So let's have it see. So we have tan x equals 14 on 24. So we want to get rid of this tan, we need to apply a tan to the -1 of this, and then this tan and this tan will cancel out. Shwing, gone. However, it's an equation, so we need to do the same to both sides. So that disappears to give us x on this side, but it leaves us with, we also need to do the tan -1 thing to this side of our equation, where we have 14 on 24. Nothing to cancel on this side, so this is what we put in our calculator. In our calculator we enter tan -1 14 on 24. Remembering, of course, a calculator has to be in degrees, and if you're looking for the -1 thing, it'll most likely be the second function of the regular tan button. Put that in a calculator, it gives us the answer of 30.26 degrees. The other way of writing this is to write in degrees, minutes, and seconds, which you can change on your calculator. That answer would give us that x equals 30 degrees, 15 minutes, and 23 seconds. Right, let's look at another example. First step again, as always, identify what we're dealing with. So here's our angle that we're looking for. That side opposite the angle, the right angle, is going to be our hypotenuse. The side opposite the angle we're dealing with is our opposite, and the side next to our angle is our adjacent. Labeled sides, done. Which ones are we dealing with? A, there's nothing there, so we're not dealing with that one. O, there's a 4 next to it, dealing with that one, tick. And the H, there's a 7 next to it, so we're dealing with that one. Beautiful. We've got ourselves an O and a H. What ratio is that? Let's write it out. SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Which one? Looking for an O and a H next to each other. O and a H. Bam. Sine. So, next step, write out the rule for our ratio. So what's the rule for our sine ratio? It was that sine of the unknown theta equals O divided by H. Now, next step, substitute in what we know. So we know that we're still using sine, but we're replacing our theta, the angle, with E, because that's what our unknown angle is labelled as, equals the opposite side, which was our 4, divided by our hypotenuse, which this side time was 7. 4 divided by 7. Beautiful. Now we have a little equation here with only the one unknown. So we need to rearrange to get that by itself. Remembering again, so to get rid of the sine function, we need to sine -1 it. So we need to go sine to the -1 of what we have on this side, which is sine of E. But then we also need to do that to the other side, because you always got to do the same to both sides. Sine -1 of what was on this side, which is the 4 over the 7. Beautiful. Now we can cancel some things out, because sine -1 of sine disappears. They cancel. Beautiful. This side of the equation, nothing to cancel that. So we're left with E equals sine to the -1 of 4 over 7. Beautiful. This is something we can chuck in a calculator. Chucking this bit in the calculator. It's nice and easy. That gives you an answer of equals 34.85 degrees. And as I said before, you can have decimal degrees, or you can write your degrees with minutes and seconds, which in this case gives us 34 degrees and 51 minutes. Seconds are rounded up to nicely being 0, so 0, 0 seconds. Beautiful! Job done. That's our unknown angle E. Time to celebrate. Yay! Celebrate! Alright, that's finding angles. The process is very the same for everyone, but if you want to refresh yourself on the steps of what to take, you can click here. If you want to look at example number 1, you can click here. If you want to look at the second example using this triangle, you can click here. And if you just want to celebrate because you're done and it's party time, you can click here. Yeah. Or you can click the little smiley fish to go back to the other video on how to find side lengths if you've forgotten how to do that.